Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest stories from the past week in the world of cord cutting. Now, this is my opinion. If you want to learn more about these stories, check out the show notes down below. I'll put a link to each story. Come up with your own opinions. So let me know what I got wrong, but let's have a conversation about some of the biggest things happening in the world of cord cutting. Two quick things before we jump into it. First, hey, I'm in the Cord Cutters News Lab. If you've watched some of the previous videos, you know I am moving the house. The office is going to be probably moving maybe in a month or two. We'll see how the new office space opens up. But hang in here as we transition into the new space. The new office in my house is going to be much more of a studio setup. It's a little bit smaller, but I think the lighting and especially the audio, once we get all the soundproofing, everything installed, will be way better, allow me to create better videos and maybe do some cool things I haven't been able to do. Hang in there, but we're working on improving the quality of these videos as we go forward. So maybe next week, definitely the week after, we'll be in the new space. The other thing is, hey, we have a giveaway happening right now. The HD Home Run Connect DVR. This is the brand new, just announced, all-in-one DVR. If you've ever listened to my reviews, you know one of the complaints I had about the HD Home Run DVRs is you needed multiple devices. Now they have one device that's the DVR, the storage, the tuners, the software, everything you need to be a DVR in a single device, streaming out to your NVIDIA Shield or Fire TV or whatever. But we have a special giveaway happening right now. Ends on Monday the 21st. So get in now. Special thanks to Silicon Dust, NVIDIA Shield, and the Cable Car Max 60 antenna company. So with this giveaway, you get a year subscription to their DVR service. You get the HD Home Run Connect Quattro 4-tuner OTA DVR, and an NVIDIA Shield Gaming Edition with the gaming controller included in that. So special thank you to NVIDIA, Silicon Dust, makers of HD Home Run, and for the antenna there. I really appreciate it. If you want to enter that giveaway, in the show notes down below, you can click on that link. There's multiple ways to enter, but the more you do, the more entries you get. So don't be afraid to do a couple different things. You can tweet out a tweet every day to get additional entries, so check that out. But let's dive into the news now that we've covered all that. Number one, Walmart is dropping their plans for a Netflix competitor. So all last year, some of the biggest news in the world coming out was the fact that Walmart was launching a Netflix-esque competitor. Now, it seems like after talking to people in the industry, even hiring some people to try to run it, they've decided, never mind. They're going to double down on Vudu, which probably means maybe some more free content coming to Vudu in different services, but the idea to launch a separate service that'll be a Netflix-esque competitor is not going to happen. Walmart had said this was going to be a middle America type Netflix. And Netflix really focused on middle America, whether you could call it middle class or maybe the so-called flyover country in the middle of America. I grew up in the Midwest. I've heard that term plenty when I grew up in Michigan. But Netflix wanted to offer a service to target the people who came into Walmart. And now they basically said, after consulting with experts looking at the industry, never mind. Which may not be a bad idea for them because there's so many competitors launching right now. We just learned NBC tends to launch an ad-supported version in 2020. Disney's launching one this year. And so are CBS is expanding theirs. Viacom is rumored to be launching one. They've said it. We don't know much. Discovery has talked about launching a subscription service. Walmart may have said, you know what, with over 100 services, all these other ones coming on the market, it's just not worth our efforts right now to do that. So keep an eye out in the future, though, what they're going to do with Vudu. This doesn't mean Walmart's walking away from streaming. A lot of people talked about this, said, oh, you know, Walmart's done with streaming. They're not going to touch it. It's all over. That's not what's happening here. Walmart was very clear that they intend to focus on Vudu. They're not getting out streaming. Streaming's still a big part of what they're going to do. You know, my prediction was that Walmart would buy Roku. We'll see if that happens, but that was my way out there crazy prediction, so keep that in mind. But I really do think Walmart has big plans. I'd love to know, what would you like to see Walmart do with Vudu? Now that they're going to focus heavily on Vudu, what would you like to see from them with that? Leave me a comment, let me know, and we'll take a look at it. Next up is NFL Sunday Ticket may be coming more cord cutting friendly. So we've talked about this in the past, but there's some new developments here, some new reports on it. So NFL Sunday Ticket has been sold to, at the time it was DirecTV, which was later bought by AT&T, where they would have the rights to sell a package, NFL Sunday Ticket, to watch out-of-market games wherever you may be inside the United States. Well, there was an out in this. So this year, NFL has the ability to take back rights to the NFL Sunday Ticket, either resell them or sell off the games out of market on their own. Now, there's been some debate: are they going to do this? Are they not going to do this? And they have until the spring of this year to make a decision. I'm not sure on the exact date. I don't know if that's public on what is the exact drop dead date to make that decision. But Richard Greenfield, BTIG analyst, has come out and said that he believes that, yes, according to his sources, the NFL will pull back those rights and either sell it to a place like Google, Amazon, Apple, etc., or maybe sell them themselves. Details are still thin, but he's Richard, I'm hoping I say his Greenfield, has a good track record of being very in tune with what's happening inside the industry when it comes to these kind of things. So keep that in mind. We'll have to watch this very closely, but I do think it would be a good move for the NFL there to do that. Let me stop that real quick so I don't get any of my motion sickness behind me. I do think it would be a good move for the NFL to go ahead and pull back those rights right now. Now, if they do it, the 2019 season will still happen with AT&T. The rights will go revert back to the NFL or whatever they may do with them for the 2020 season. So keep that in mind. So even if they pull this trigger, there's still one more year left on AT&T's contract. But with the way that everything's going, MLB is also in talks about pulling back out of market rights to be able to sell the ability with MLB at bat to let you watch your in-market games through that service. That's being negotiated right now. We'll see if they get that. But it really seems like that's where everybody's moving. NBA's also talked about becoming much more aggressive. This year they did with their games, allowing, for instance, to buy just access to fourth quarter if it's an interesting game. So keep a very close eye on the future of sports. As sports go, kind of a lot of our other things go, and we're starting to see the early stages of sports companies like the NFL, like MLB, like NBA, the big boys on the industry, let's be honest, these are the ones that make some of the biggest bucks when it comes to streaming, are all talking about the ability to go and take their rights back from content providers and offer it direct. I think this is very exciting for cord cutting because I know, hey, if you're an NFL fan, you're willing to pay to get out of market games. I live in Texas. You know, I'm more technically should be a Detroit Lions fan. We won't go who I really like. But, you know, my team's not here. So having the ability to get NFL Sunday Ticket would be kind of cool. But I'm not paying for DirecTV to get NFL Sunday Ticket. It's already crazy expensive enough. But if I had a standalone option, I may consider that. My question to you is twofold. First, would you be interested if you had an option as a cord cutter to get an NFL Sunday Ticket type service? And who would you rather have it? So let's say the NFL doesn't want to do it themselves. They want to sell it off. Would you see Google, Amazon, Google through YouTube, Amazon, Apple, who else? Who would you really like to manage these rights? If you could pick any company to take over the NFL Sunday Ticket and sell it a la carte basis, what would you like to see there? Who would you like to have do it? Leave me a comment, let me know. I'll love to hear from you. All right, last story of the day, and this is the big one. Will cord cutting cost more than cable TV? This week, Netflix kind of slipped out there that they're going to do a $2 price increase on all their plans. So the world basically came to an end. You know how this is, $2 price increase. Cord cutting is going to cost more than cable. Might as well go back to cable. Heck, even NBC released a story. I got my rebuttal to it. I'll add it down there about how, you know, streaming costs basically as much as cable and might as well go back to cable. Of course, and I will give them credit, they did disclose this in the story, NBC is owned by Comcast. So NBC News doing a story about how cord cutting costs more than or as much as cable about, and you should go back to cable, was basically a paid advertisement for Comcast. They did disclose they were doing it, and I'll give them props because a lot of these companies who do this, who advertise the cable, sometimes don't disclose that. So props to you, NBC News, having the guts to at least say, hey, we're owned by Comcast, just FYI. But what's happening here? Well, a recent study has shown that cord cutting save on average, the average American, $85 a month. That's the average. Some will save more, some will save less. But you say, Luke, streaming went up. Netflix costs $2 more. But so did cable. This month, many cable providers, Comcast, Spectrum, DirecTV Now, in the next month or so, are all raising the price, some as much as $5 to $10 a month. So even with that $2 Netflix increase, you're still saving a ton more money. The truth is, really here, you look at like Spectrum, 2 price hikes last year. They raised the core plan earlier in the year, and then they raise the fees and taxes later on. Comcast has a plan that now costs over $250 a month for the basic plan. Well, for their high-end plan, but for the core part of the plan, $250 a month with it. As cord cutting goes up, let's be honest, it's impossible to expect a service to keep the price the same forever. It's just not happening. Inflation happens, people want more money. As Netflix has said, there is more competition. You have Hulu spending big, you have Amazon spending big, you have Disney coming into the field. There is a lot more competition out there. We need to be honest with the fact that, hey, there's not all, at some point the price is going to go up. This is only the second price hike from Netflix in 4 years, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure this is the second time in 4 years. You compare that to cable's yearly price hikes that are sometimes 2 times a year, all the hidden fees. That's one of the big things I took a issue with in the NBC story, is they're like, oh, $120, look at all this you get, but they didn't bring up the fees, they didn't bring up the taxes, the device rentals, the HD technology fees, DVR rentals, the list goes on and on. Regional broadcast, regional sports, all that fun stuff they don't see on cord cutting side. So yes, cord cutting will get a little bit more expensive, but in all the years I've been doing this, the growth of cord cutting has been like $1 here, $2 there, compared to, and every couple of years, compared to $5, $10 a year, plus new fees, new taxes, new device rentals, all kinds of stuff just keeps adding. The real truth with cord cutting is you are saving more this year, even with the Netflix price hike, than you were last year. Because if you had Comcast and all these others, $5 to $10 a month versus a $2 price hike. So you would have been paying $5 to $10 more than you were. The other thing NBC didn't talk about with that is that offer was likely a promo offer. So that would expire at some point and automatically go up. I have even heard from some of our readers, we haven't been able to confirm this, that some of the offers that places are offering you on the phone. So when you call and try to cancel your cable TV provider, they say, hey, crazy good deal, right? Look at this amazing deal, all this content, we'll give you at an unbelievable price. Sometimes those are only good for a few months. Instead of being good for a full year, you only get a few months of a 2-year contract. So you agree to a 2-year contract, 3 to 6 months later is what my readers are telling me, suddenly your price starts going up. The other thing they're getting you on is, hey, we're having a unlimited block on this price. So this price won't change for several years. Well, what they're not telling you is that's the core price. So the core price won't change. But as many people will find out this month, as many of these companies raise their fees, the things like the DVR fee, the regional sports fee, the broadcast TV fee, the device rentals, those little boxes you now need for each TV you want to watch with, those are going up. So just remember that cord cutting may be a tiny bit expensive by $2 a month, but cable is way more expensive. And the great thing about cord cutting is there's no contract. If you're upset with Netflix, if you're upset with DirecTV Now or any of these, hey, switch to the competitors, just drop it. The reality is you don't need to have things all the time. Let's say you want Netflix or Stranger Things. Wait until Stranger Things comes out and get Stranger Things. The last thing, my last argument about this is there have been repeated studies, and I'll put a link to it down below in this article where you can read all the numbers and get them yourself. But the vast majority of cable subscribers also have a Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, some type of streaming service with it. Why? Many of the most popular shows happening right now, Stranger Things, House of Cards, Handmaid's Tale, the new Tom Clancy show, many of these award-winning shows that are crazy popular, you cannot watch on cable. You need a streaming subscription. Ask yourself, if you went back to cable, would you be able to give up everything? Would you be able to give up your Handmaid's Tale? Would you be able to give up your Stranger Things? Would you be able to give up your free 2-day shipping on Amazon? I know when we cut the cord, we already had Netflix for the shows, and we already had Amazon mostly for the shipping. But hey, we'll take advantage of the free movies and TV shows that are included in that too. And I think many Americans and studies, like the one in the link below in our story, back that up. So when you say, even the promotional offer, oh look, $120, you still need to add Netflix, you still need to add Hulu, you still need to add fees, taxes, services, and device rentals to that. So my question to you is, how much are you saving as a cord cutter? Leave me a comment. What do you think about the Netflix price increase? Is that making you walk away from TV? Are you saying, or from Netflix I should say, are you saying, hey, not worth it? So drive me back to cable. Let me know. I'll love to hear from the 2 or 3 people that happened. I don't think you can really say, oh, you know, I paid $2 more. Let me go pay $5 to $10 more than I would have last year for cable. But that's my opinion. Prove me wrong. Let me know. And let me know what your general thoughts are on the future of cord cutting. I know there's always a lot of fear about will cord cutting cost more than cable. I honestly don't think it will, because cable just can't help themselves but keep jacking up the rates. When the slow trickle of cord cutting is just, plus all the competition, you don't like it, go somewhere else. All right, everybody, there is my argument for why cord cutting will always be cheaper. I'd love to know yours. Hey, again, thanks for dealing with the unusual setup here. We're going to be hopefully into the new space next week. May take a few weeks to get all the soundproofing installed, get the lighting set up the way I want. Some of that's a little bit of trial and error. That didn't look quite right. Let's try and move this a little bit. Those kind of things happen. So bear with me the next couple weeks. I think when the new studio is set up, it's going to be really impressive. When we move out of this space into the bigger one, the place I'm looking at is about twice the amount of room here. I got some really cool plans for the future. So hang in there with me. We'll try to come up with some cool idea for next week if I can't be in the studio. Something a little bit better than maybe this. So I'll see you next week. Thanks for your support. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget about our giveaway. Link in the show notes.